Hi, if you know my channel, you know my videos on Los Angeles are from the perspective of a native Angelino who spent a good chunk of my time in my younger years living and working overseas. Drawing on those experiences, I'm able to make solid comparisons about life in LA versus life elsewhere as I break down one aspect per video about LA life for people considering relocating to LA with an edge toward retirement and what people might face at the age of retirement. This time the topic is healthcare, and without being too TMI, I can share that I experienced European healthcare more than I wanted to because, well, who wants to be sick? Except that it was a blast becoming a parent overseas. Suffice it to say that from hospitals to calling in sick at my job, to finding a doctor on the fly for a crazy bad migraine, to pediatricians and allergy tests, yes, I've had those in more than one country, I've been exposed to a whole bunch of healthcare in multiple cities in at least 3 countries on 2 continents. Let me just say out loud that all of my care overseas was outstanding, and I have nothing negative to report about my experiences with healthcare outside the US. I was extremely fortunate. So that leaves Los Angeles. What is the healthcare like in a big city that some like to call La La Land? Turns out the healthcare infrastructure in Los Angeles is excellent. Think about it. A city that is unwell can't succeed, and successful people won't tolerate a city that doesn't treat them well. There's no way celebrity life, creative life, innovative life thrives here if the conditions around self-care and healthcare are bad. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about whether medical procedures are approved by anyone's insurance company, which is a nationwide topic not unique to Los Angeles and not covered in this video. I'm talking about the wide availability of healthcare, if and once what you need is approved, and the overall broad-minded approach to seeking and providing treatment and wellness care, including alternative care not provided by physicians and that requires no health insurance. For example, yoga sessions to help with stress, or elective care that may not be covered by insurance, but that one opts to receive for their overall well-being. I also make no affirmations as to what any particular healthcare provider could actually provide to any patient or prospective patient. I'm speaking as a general observer and not on behalf of anyone, nor is this video meant to provide medical or other healthcare advice. Please consult your healthcare provider about your wellness needs. So in broad strokes, LA County has 88 hospitals that range from acute care hospitals to children's hospitals to research and teaching hospitals to rehabilitation hospitals. Our universities have hospitals. Our grocery stores butt up against hospitals. Here's a map showing a store from a major grocery store chain planted next to a world-renowned children's hospital that occupies multiple buildings, with a special shout out, because I can't resist it, to the metro station on the corner of Sunset and Vermont. If you travel farther west on Sunset Boulevard, like literally just across the street there at Vermont, another large hospital occupies several more buildings, including this one, where I was born. Did I ever mention I was born on Sunset Boulevard? Except it looked like this way back then. Well, this photo and those cars predate my arrival by about 15 years, but this is the place. And for a better angle, almost every building you see in this photo of this stretch of Sunset Boulevard is part of a medical center or hospital. And back to the children's hospital for a moment, because it brings us to our next key point. If you're grocery shopping at Vons, the store next to the hospital, it's possible you'll see a helicopter taking off from or landing on the rooftop of the hospital that is actually not that far up because the building isn't that tall. Another quirk of Los Angeles. Other than in downtown Los Angeles, there aren't that many skyscrapers. When you see the helicopter on your way in or out of the store, you hold your breath a bit because you know what that helicopter ride means for a child and their family. And the helicopters at that hospital remind me of a broader fact about LA's rooftops and medical care. Until just a few years ago, every commercial building in Los Angeles had to have a flat roof. Every single one, specifically so that helicopters could land anywhere in an emergency. This building was the first one built after the flat roof rule was lifted in 2014. Even the Walt Disney Concert Hall, usually admired from this view, has a bit of dedicated flat roof space that you can see from this view. So helipads, especially on hospitals, are quite literally everywhere in the city. Check out all those flat roofs. If I had drone footage of the entire city, the roofs on commercial buildings would all look like this. And with a city this size, which some say runs on entertainment and fitness, the city has tons of medical specialists. You may think you'll never need a plastic surgeon or a cosmetic dentist, and I truly hope you never do, but you never know what calamity may arise that requires repair work, whether it's cancer, tooth loss due to aging, a bad slip and fall, or hips that give out, requiring a hip replacement. Sadly, as we get older, health calamities happen. Due to the Los Angeles metro area's strong entertainment industry, overall lifestyle, and GDP of $1.295 trillion in 2024, which constituted 1/3 of California's GDP of $4.103 trillion in 2024, with California being the world's fourth largest economy at the time of this recording, there is extensive access to high-quality medical and mental health care, highly competitive cosmetic dentistry, and numerous fitness centers, wellness gurus, yoga studios, etc. And the list doesn't end there. We have skateboard parks, public basketball, tennis, and pickleball courts, soccer pitches, hiking trails, golf courses, 3K and 5K runs, and skiing not too far away, also for exercise. All ways to stay in shape and take care of one's health. The city also accommodates well mobility devices. People may view it as a dirty and selfish city, but that's a misconception. Seamless mobility and ease of access are prominent features of our city. Curb cuts are everywhere. True story, I once asked a city council person's staffer to add a missing curb cut at the end of a sidewalk in that council person's district, and it was done in 4 days. Seriously, I complained on a Monday and the curb was cut by Thursday. Meanwhile, many of LA's curb cuts have truncated domes, those yellow squares with round bumps or domes set at a specific distance apart, to alert visually impaired individuals that they've reached the edge of the curb or sidewalk. The domes are far enough apart to allow wheelchair wheels to roll through. These truncated dome curb cuts are all over Los Angeles and many cities in the world. Let's look at this video. This is a video of a metro stop, and you'll see a wheelchair user in a moment, presumably just after they've exited the train. At first glance, it appears they have nowhere to go and that they're stranded in the middle of the tracks. But that's actually the crosswalk. It has truncated domes on either side to alert a visually impaired individual of the road on the far side of the video and the train tracks on this side of the video. If this metro rider crosses on the far side, you can see a pretty wide curb cut and a broad sidewalk waiting for them. My theory on why there are no truncated domes on the other side is that they do somewhat slow progress. And if you're using a mobility device to cross this busy street, you need to get past the curb cut and reach the sidewalk quickly. Meanwhile, a visually impaired person coming from the other side can still tell by the shape of the curb, the fact that it's cut, that they're at the edge of the sidewalk. So it was, I think, a wise compromise that hopefully keeps both groups safe. Back to this passenger, if they cross on this side, the curb cut and curb are equally wide. If they continue down the street on this side, you can see the next curb cut waiting. Moving around the city a bit, you can see that one can even enjoy long stretches of the beach using a mobility device. That pathway goes for miles off screen to the north. The path from the Santa Monica Pier to Venice Beach is 3.3 miles long, while the length of the entire Marvin Broad Bike Trail, also known as the Strand, is 22.3 miles. A person using a wheelchair or a Segway or a walker or a scooter for mobility can use the path to enjoy the beach with everyone else. The upside to a city that's all spread out is that we understand the importance of needing to get around easily. We put a premium on convenience. As I've said in other videos, we drive far distances to get where we're going. It needs to work now that we've arrived. And here's a retirement tip for anywhere in the world. When you watch walking tour videos of other places you're considering retiring in, pay particular attention not just to the sidewalks and curbs, but to the storefronts. One country I thought about spending a long time in if I'm lucky enough to travel in retirement has a major design flaw that I spotted after watching multiple walking tour videos, and it's this. Many of their storefronts have 2 or 3 steps before you can access the front door to the business. It goes sidewalk, a couple of steps, front door. I saw very few ramps that bypassed this problem. That literally crossed that destination off my list as a long-term prospect. I'd still love to visit, but I don't imagine spending an extended period of time there. Thankfully for you, Los Angeles doesn't have that problem. As I said, ramps and curb cuts abound, and store entrances are generally flush with the sidewalk, or there are ramps to the entrance. Videos for another country I researched revealed that in their largest city, if you, say, fracture a bone in your arm, you get the x-ray in one location, and they may send you several miles away to get the cast put on your arm. Literally, they know your arm needs a cast, but they have to send you somewhere else to get it. That's not feasible for older folks. Technically, it's inconvenient for anyone, but it's particularly problematic for an elderly person. Luckily, LA's broad and convenient healthcare system doesn't require that. They may x-ray you on the 2nd floor and send you to the 3rd floor for the cast. But your longest trip is maybe down a couple of hallways and up or down a few floors in an elevator. In sum, you may hear about LA having a seedy side, and I love to cover the seedy side of LA depicted in Raymond Chandler's and Walter Mosley's private detective novels in my book review videos for sure. Who doesn't love Philip Marlowe or Easy Rawlins? And that impression of LA that some people have may make you wonder what Los Angeles' infrastructure is like when it comes to meeting your medical needs. Without jinxing us locals, I can say that the city is largely accessible with a wide variety of healthcare and wellness options. 88 hospitals. Make sure something similar is true for any other city you're considering retiring in or visiting for an extended stay.